Regarding parking along North Central Avenue and South Central Avenue. Pardon me? Traffic engineer. This is the recommendation of the traffic engineer.
Okay.
So, anyway, so you have a report in front of you tonight with some lovely photos and recommendations. So I'll entertain a motion so we get it on the floor and open it up for discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Let's do it. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion.
So was there any discussion, Chief, with on-street parking?
There was actually. The committee actually recognizes the fact that we need additional parking. So we looked at a lot of different ways to try to accomplish that, including angled parking. Obviously, I think everybody unanimously said a parking deck would be most ideal in that area. In lieu of that, we were concerned about the angled parking due to the highway that we're talking about entering from those angled spots. Previously, we did have angled spots, and I think we had some pretty significant issues with traffic. Even though it's really not a very high-speed area, we do get people traveling pretty swiftly and the congested area. So we still like, even though it takes up much more space, we do like the parking the way it is along the Central Avenue corridor.
I don't think it's marked very well though, or clearly, and so you can consume more than necessary if people park sloppy, which, you know, tend to do. So I think that would be a consideration to make
Freshen
sure
up.
that it's
Thank you.
freshen up.
I agree with that.
Well, I will say that our committee by no means thinks that this is the all that ends all. In fact, we would like to recommend at some point some formalized traffic engineer group come in like that with somebody to actually do a comprehensive study with measurements of spots and see how we can help mitigate that. In fact, at the end of it, as you will notice in our recommendation, we're hopeful that adding 2-hour parking everywhere between 8 and 4 will in fact mitigate some of those stalled vehicles that just stay there for long periods of time, consuming a lot of the parking in most all of our municipal areas and lots, excluding the one right across from City Hall. We haven't seen a problem there, although it does get full. We just haven't seen a problem with that sort of thing there.
Who will police the 2-hour parking? How's that going to be done?
That's going to be a problem.
Yeah, admittedly,
Gonna
it's
hire
going
you to
to
make?
be a challenge. In fact, it could be a full-time position for somebody. But for right now, what we intend to do is to go back to areas, things like marking tires,
Yeah.
with chalk. We're able to take some pictures now and timestamp those photographs, so we're able to use those in court. But again, admittedly, it's going to be a challenge. And really, I would ask everybody to help us.
I was going to say, that's kind of up to the businesses to keep an eye on the parking that they can see visibly and make sure that, because typically that parking is going to be a daily abuser, that's been my experience. Same person parking there day in, day out.
Unfortunately, I mean, we have to rely on a little bit of moral or ethic with people. I mean, if I went to Virginia Islands and wanted to go somewhere and stay for a period of time and it said just 2-hour parking, I would be nervous about it, but I care about getting a ticket. But if they don't think they're gonna ever get a ticket, and what I had suggested to you is if we could make up something that's a friendly warning first for a while, because this is new, because they're getting real creative around the cafe. One person removed a sign so they could park there, and another one put a bag over the sign. So if all you gotta do is remove signs or put bags over them, it's open season for craziness.
Right, I agree. And I will say, the one encouraging point is on that. When we did put the signs in the municipal lot for the 2-hour parking currently, for a period of time there, we really saw compliance. I mean, people saw those signs go in and there was not a lot of parking there. Since then, unfortunately, because of the enforcement issue with it, I think we started seeing a few come in and kind of test the waters.
Well, I've got the solution, but nobody wants to hear it.
Parking me.
Parking me. But nobody, I mean, I understand the hell with that one, but one way to create and control parking is make it available.
But I thought friendly reminders at least tells them that we are looking without the hassle of necessarily, you know, going through all the court things, till people understand that we are looking.
Absolutely. And to Mary, to your point, that is something that we brought up as well. And in fact, I think especially on the North Central corridor, that would be an awesome option. Because for my staff, even on patrol, we would see the red flags when they're up. So we
And it's all automated now, so it's not as complicated as it used to be.
absolutely. So that's a great option. And again, to this, I say this is kind of a starting point. We wanted to lob a recommendation to you all to finesse it how you will, maybe take the recommendation entirely, but then if we come back at some point and look at this parking issue again, I think more formalized from a company like that would, to do those measurements to get the most impact that we possibly can, would be our recommendation.
If you're with the parking meter issue, I was gonna say, as long as, I would say, folks say, we're not trying to make a budget shortfall by charging $10 an hour.
No.
You know, that it just start out with, if you just say 25 cents an hour, something like that, but that it would put that red flag up there if it was a, at the time it had expired. Now, I don't know, with a meter, can you not just be sitting in Buttersweet eating a lot of cupcakes and you're taking hours after hours and put another quarter in and another quarter in and another quarter in? I mean, with a parking meter, you can feed it, right?
That's true. Now, that would be the consideration if you were managing it that way. That is something you can do to avoid the 2-hour parking. And then it kind of brings us back to where we are with, the parking issue of people being able to come in and patronize those downtown facilities.
And then we could, make it free at night or something like that.
Right.
Well, there's something that maybe you're not thinking about, because I'm real close to this problem, like every day. We have so many workers and employers downtown and so few parking that we don't have spaces left for customers. And so the businesses, including mine and those around me, are starting to suffer. I mean, it's way more than me, but on both sides of the tracks, people maybe want to go to Beer Girl. You circle a block twice, and you sometimes want to give up and just say, well, maybe another time. We don't want a lot of that. So what we're trying to do with the 2-hour parking that you might lose if you do a cheap meter is you get these same employees and people back in those primary spaces that are willing to spend a couple of bucks a day for, and they're taking up that space that you want a customer to use. So think about that.
But there's smart meters where, you do 30 minutes free and then max 2 hours. And you can't even feed the meter any more than 2 hours.
Because you gotta put your tag in.
Or you have to get a little sticker or something. I don't know exactly, or a credit card. There are smart meters that do stuff like that. But there's no 2-hour parking downtown. So I think we're pushing everybody from inside the city parking lots and putting them downtown. That's what it seems like.
That could very well be a possible impact. But
Yeah.
what we're hoping to do is to kind of solidify that 2-hour parking in all of our municipal areas. So it includes our parking lots, except for the one across from City Hall. So in essence, what we're looking for between 8 and 4 is just kind of a movement of traffic, giving everybody the ability to have some time there. But yeah, I mean, that's
So the 2-hour parking will be on North and South Central?
correct.
Because I didn't see that in here. I saw, well, you have them labeled like lot H, I, and
I
J.
think also Sam Hague is a 2-hour.
And Sam Hay,
Well, now I will say that we did not.
That's not-
contemplate
that's
that.
Okay,
city.
okay.
Right, so just the areas that we marked, but it does include North and South Central, South Fulton, primarily, and then around the depot. But I will say that I had an opportunity to speak with Charlotte here this evening, and one of her concerns was her staffing has particular needs, and they're elderly folks, and they're there for around 3 hours. And if we have that solely in that lot, we might kind of stymie the operation there a little bit. So again, this thing could be something that can be finessed a little bit. Maybe we leave some of those.
I was gonna say, leave some permitted spaces,
Yes.
permitted parking only signs for.
And on the left side of the depot is not as used as much by our customer base or even employee base, so I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, we did talk a little bit about maybe a permitting, identifier for the staff, something like that, that will allow them to do that. So that could be incorporated as well.
Well, I think it's gonna be an ongoing discussion. I went to lunch in Fayetteville today. Fayetteville, they've got the Twisted Taco downtown, and they've got another coffee house that's just opened up down there, and they've got a tavern, I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, and the parking, as we're dealing with our problems, our downtown is so much friendlier than Fayetteville's. So I'm kind of thankful that we've got the problem we have, because we've got some creative solutions. Fayetteville's very limited, and you take your life in your own hands down there at lunchtime trying to cross the streets around that courthouse. So we do have some good options, and I appreciate Rick and his staff for showing us some ideas. And again, I think it's an ongoing thing. I think more and more, as Michael says, it's more and more of a thing with businesses thinking a little outside the box and thinking about their customers and not the convenience of their employees. Because, you know, walk a little bit. You know, it's not going to hurt you to walk a little bit if you're working somewhere to free that space up for somebody's going to come in and spend some money.
Yeah,
That's common sense, and then one thing government's not real good at doing is legislating common sense.
Well, is it 80-something parking spaces in the park? I think it's 80-something. And so my employees are prepared with the 2-hour parking to have to park over there. I mean, it affects me. It isn't like I'm doing something for me, but I want to do something for all the businesses. I don't want any business to fail because they don't have customers.
Any further discussion on this item, folks?
So I just want to make sure I'm correct. Because I read the thing, I guess, the parking on North Central, I just don't assume it as a city lot. It says city lot on here, so are we considering it right now as a city lot?
Yeah, I'm sorry for the language on
Okay,
that.
okay, I'm just
Just
trying
the
to.
areas that we're actually recommending 2-hour parking between 8 and 4, Monday through Friday, are gonna be along North Central Avenue, South Central Avenue, possibly a little bit of adjusting there. The municipal lot off South Fulton, including the parking on South Fulton along the businesses that we manage, which are already marked right now, but you know, with those signs, we recommended, again, we put some language in there for 8 to 4. Because right now, it's actually just 2-hour parking only. And I think we just need to open everything up in the evening and on the weekends, because we're really not seeing the problem. So it's just those areas, Samuel Plaza, the park, the municipal lot across from City Hall, we're recommending to leave those right now.
Well, it may be that what we're doing here will affect the plaza, so it'll be something to watch.
Absolutely.
Because I don't want to hurt the corner tavern in the same principle.
Absolutely. Sure.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Okay, further discussion? All right, there being none, all in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Next item up is consideration action on the installation of a traffic light signal at the intersection of Virginia Avenue and Normanberry Drive. The city's planning commission has recommended that the city council consider installation of a traffic light to be paid for by Racetrack Incorporated as part of the site plan approval as heard by the planning commission on August the 8th, 2017. The traffic signal is intended to ease congestion and facilitate traffic flow from the La Quinta Inn, Ruby Tuesday, Racetrack, and traffic onto and from Normanberry Drive and Virginia Avenue. The signal will include a pedestrian crossing. Staff recommends approval of the installation of the light, pending legal review and execution of the following. Number one, the execution by the mayor of an intergovernmental agreement and other necessary agreements, documents, and instruments between the cities of Hapeville and East Point regarding the maintenance of and synchronization by East Point of the new traffic signal at the intersection of Normanberry Drive and Virginia Avenue, and the traffic signals at Bobby Brown and Virginia Avenue and 85 and Virginia Avenue. And two, that the execution by the mayor of an agreement with Racetrack Incorporated, whereas Racetrack will pay the full cost of installation of the traffic signal at the Normanberry/Virginia Drive intersection. Okay, that's a lot to chew on.
All right, I'll give you a little bit
I'll
of,
let Lynn Patterson, our city planner, fill us in on the long process.
sure. So after the conditional use permit approval by the council, the city was directed to work with Racetrack La Quinta Inn and Ruby Tuesdays on a solution to what would come from the traffic study that we were awaiting. The city worked diligently, as did Racetrack, La Quinta, and Ruby Tuesdays. Once that traffic study came forth, and primarily the issue was the intersection of Virginia Avenue and Norman Berry. The solution that was identified by all parties was to install a traffic signal at this intersection. As indicated in the background you have, Racetrack has offered to pay for the full installation of the signal. The Planning Commission heard and approved the site plan on August 8th and recommended the mayor and council approve a traffic light or an alternate ingress-egress should the traffic signal not be approved at the intersection to the property from onto Virginia Avenue. We had the city engineer review the traffic signal proposal and share their response with Chief Bodisek and Lee Suddick. The response from the city engineer that it was a justified signal. However, there are some concerns with the location of the signal. And those were the proximity of the light to the East Point light at Bobby Brown / Toffee Terrace. That the driveway be widened to accommodate a left egress as well as right, so it would have 3 lanes, 1 coming up and 2 going out. That they address interparcel access, multiple signal heads at that intersection, a deceleration lane, and having the Racetrack pick up that cost. But also understand the city of Hapeville would be responsible for the ongoing maintenance of the traffic light. We worked very hard consulting with Lee and Chief Bodisek, and basically came forward with a proposal that it's essential that that traffic light, should it be installed, be synchronized with 3 lights. The one off of the 85, the one at Bobby Brown Toffee Terrace, and the one for this Virginia Avenue Norman Berry, because of the close proximity and wanting to be able to ensure safety. So Racetrack's attorney has been working with East Point, who at this point we've drafted an intergovernmental agreement between East Point and Hapeville that we will bring forward should the traffic signal be approved by mayor and council, whereas East Point would coordinate the synchronization of that traffic light. The city of Hapeville will maintain it, the actual traffic signal, and that Racetrack would pay for the light installation. The one element that both Chief and Lee were not particularly concerned about that the engineer brought up was the deceleration lane. They said that was not as imperative as some of the others. So what we're asking for, staff is recommending is consideration and approval of the traffic light design pending at Norman Berry and Virginia Avenue, with agreements between East Point and the city of Hapeville and Racetrack and the city of Hapeville to be reviewed by legal and executed by the mayor. We expect to bring these agreements back. Hopefully we can get them all put together by October 3rd. We just received drafts of them, so I wasn't able to put them in your packet, and legal has not been able to review them at this point. October 3rd, sorry. And we do have representatives here from Racetrack, La Quinta, and Ruby Tuesday, should you want to hear any more of that. But that's what we're looking for, is approval for the traffic signal so we can go ahead and start preparing those agreements and moving forward.
While we're at it, just for the record, who made the motion, Jennifer?
There's no motion been
Oh,
made.
no motion made yet, okay.
Oops.
You'll say when the motion is made, make it subject to legal review and intergovernmental agreements, I'm sorry. Does anyone from Racetrack, La Quinta, or Ruby Tuesdays wish to speak to this matter? You just come forward and state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Hello, my name is John Sugg from Davis Matthews and Quigley at 3400 Peachtree Road, Atlanta, Georgia. I am here on behalf of Ruby Tuesday. My colleague Valerie Ross is on behalf of the La Quinta Inn owner and operator. We've been working hard with Harold Buckley, who is the attorney for Racetrack, and his partner Larry Dingle. I think this is a very positive step that we're excited about. We would urge the approval of this, the concerns that you all voiced at the last city council were brought to fruition and exemplified by the traffic study, that these were all legitimate concerns. I think Councilwoman Dimick even said, well, why don't y'all put a light there? And so now we're sitting here hopefully with this positive step. So we would urge approval of that, and we would urge that we do it as quickly as possible, and hopefully by October 3rd, because it is my understanding that everyone's understanding is that the approval of the light is a condition on the actual use of the property.
Any other parties wish to speak from?
Mr. Racetrack? Are you Mr. Buckley?
I am.
All right. I have a question. I haven't gone through this ream of paper yet, but is there going to be any other ingress, egress other than at that light for the racetrack? Is it going to be a little bit further to the east of the light that somebody can just make a right-hand turn onto Virginia?
There are 3 access points to the block, but for racetrack, the access points that we are looking at are a shared driveway, which is the existing hotel driveway onto Virginia Avenue. That is where the new traffic signal will
Right,
go.
it's going to be widened?
That's correct. That's correct. They have the dedicated right turn out.
Okay.
And then there will also be a direct access, right turn in, right turn out onto Loop Road at the rear.
Oh, you are going to go onto Loop
Yeah.
Road?
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be
No.
excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Get a lot of buildings done. All right, thank you. That's-
Also,
that's
if it
what-
gets backed up at the light, you can just go
Right.
down the
Go
back.
around the
That's-
back, yeah, come up on.
That would be the way
Yeah. All right, very good, thank you. I think that sounds like a great plan.
You read a lot of things, and I tried to keep it non-obsessive. On Virginia Avenue, as you're heading toward East Point, is there going to be a left turn lane at that light for going in so that the other 2 lanes are free?
There will not be.
There's not room?
There will not be an added dedicated lane. You mean at the traffic light?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
We haven't designed the intersection yet, but I don't know that it can accommodate.
I don't think it's
I guess signage would warn people that this is a straight turn lane and the other one is straight only.
Well, and really, if we're synchronizing those lights, hopefully the traffic would not be coming from East Point.
Yeah.
You'd be able to make that left into that.
The challenge with so many of those intersections, and this is just the nature of this, like when you're getting off 85 in Virginia, I find that the person in front of me wants to cross 3 lanes to make a left on the next street, and they wait for every car in the world. But that's the same thing's gonna happen, it seems like, when they get off in front of McDonald's, if they're wanting to make a left in the racetrack. But I don't know any way around it, you can't have a bridge to every place.
Well, I was over there on Virginia Avenue last night, and regardless of this development, in my opinion, there's really already a need for a light.
Well, getting out of McDonald's has always been
Coming out of
scary.
that, coming out of that McDonald's and coming out of Normanberry there at the crab spot and where
Right.
our spread is, if you're going out and turning left, going back towards Haven, you're taking your life in your hands. 'Cause people got out in the middle of that last night and just froze. I sat there and watched like 2 or 3 accidents almost occur in just a minute or 2 window of time. So I'm very much support this, and would support the turn line if there's any way we can squeeze that in, but that's an engineering discussion. Okay, is anyone prepared to make a motion on this item? We asked that question, we had to add something.
Oh, pending legal.
Yeah, pending legal and finalization of the intergovernmental agreements regarding synchronization.
I move to accept this plan pending legal approval and other things that might be required.
There you go. All right, is there a second?
I'll second
Motion and seconds. Any further discussion on this item?
You know, there is a light that's kind of like this where they're really close together. We go I-20 to Moreland, we go into that Kroger over there. There are 2 lights that are back to back. And it's a smaller distance than what we're looking at. And it seems, because they're timed very well, and it gets that traffic moving, so I don't think it should be that much of an issue. As long as you get them timed right.
Like it even. I was gonna say, the CIDs might participate in that if they do.
Well, it's my understanding, excuse me, that GDOT has been working to synchronize
Okay.
the other two lines.
Okay,
And this
good.
would be an added one, so we're asking East Point to make sure, because they've been working with GDOT to add this one. And that's why we have the
It
intergovernmental.
has to be synchronized to work.
I look forward to it. I've seen very few synchronized. It seems like they are causing me to stop.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. All right, further discussion? There being none, all in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. City manager report.
I'll try to be brief.
Thank you. All the attorneys.
Yeah.
Officially off the
Which one
clock.
of y'all buying dinner for the others?
Appreciate y'all's patience for 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I
thank
think
you.
I paid.
You're welcome to stay here and take notice of the rest.
No, thank you.
You enjoyed the county, you like some city, somebody else in the city. Tim?
That's right.
After doing 3 budgets for the city in 9 months, I finally get to do something fun, and that is plan. Now that we're looking at essentially real tax money coming in soon, and I can begin to plan based on what our property values are and will be. And just as council and residents have said, the city needs to get in its own general fund on firmer footing. I do have a sketch of a plan. It's always based on what values are, but we are basically 2 to 5 years, I believe, in getting a real solid cash balance for the for our general fund. One thing that I would like to do this year, depending if collections come in as we plan, not only just pay the $2 million, but also there's a scheduled transfer from water sewer into the general fund. I'd like to not to be able to do that. We'll come back in a few months if we do that. But those are some things that I actually would like to do so that 4 or 5 years from now, the city of Hapeville, which is growing, which is doing an excellent job, that people are excited about, can be extremely firm. So that's one. And secondly, I just want to say thank you to Hapeville, to our team. 8 days ago, right about this time, we were under the worst winds and the worst storm that probably the city has seen for a while. I was getting calls about trees coming down, power out, etc. 5 days later, we had Happy Days locomotion, and to everyone, I want to say thank you. I'm so proud of our teams. So you made my life as easy as it could be. I mean, clearly, when we don't have answers, we try to get answers as fast as possible. It's frustrating.
You have more hair than you have on that.
You're right. But I'm just excited, and Happy Days and Locomotion went off extremely well. We're getting good reports. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for what happened over the last 9 days.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, this time I'll entertain public comments. It can be about anything. You can ask a question or comment about anything that's on your mind. Starting on my right, Darlene.
Game of Thrones too.
Game of Thrones. You talking about I watched about 15 minutes of it, so I'm sure I've missed something.
I just wanted to say.
You
I
are,
just
you
agree.
are?
Oh, yeah, Shirley, or at 511 Parkway Drive.
Thank you.
Our interim city manager, you are 100% right. Before I left my house, one of our seniors, 90 years old, called me, and she said, Shirley, I looked out in my yard, and there were 4 city workers cleaning up my yard. She said, I can't tell you what that did to my heart. What this city does is amazing. And I know I've been here 9 years. Every year, the whole ball field floods. And I'm out there taking pictures. It's like a swimming pool in my front yard. I always wanted a pool. This is the first time they clean the sewers, and I appreciate that. And you make sure Lee knows no flooding, and it's just a miracle. I heard 20 trees down. That's a lot of trees, and I just say thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on all right, Linda? You've exceeded your.
Roll.
I'm Linda Murray, 3330 North Whitney Avenue. There's two things. We have an event Thursday night. Family Life Ministries is doing a annual gala event, and Jeff Foxworthy has agreed to be our host. We're having a silent auction from 5 to 7. From 7 to 10 will be the dinners. We'll have dinner, and then Jeff Foxworthy. That will be our entertainment.
That's at the GICC.
GICC, which is on Cape Creek going down right there at the convention center. It's $100. We still have some tickets. Tomorrow will probably be we cut it off. No tickets at the door. What it's for, it's to fill the food pantry and to help the veterans that come in there that are trying to bridge the gap from the money that a little bit of money they get. Elderly, we have senior citizens that come in there trying to bridge the gap of, what funds they have to just run on for a month. Sometimes they come to the end of the month and they're out of groceries. So we need the support, and so I just encourage you, if you haven't got a ticket, you can contact me or Charlene. We have tickets, and we'll make sure that we get to you if you're in the city of Hayesville.
It's the 35th anniversary of that.
35th, so that's gonna be Thursday. Then October the
21st.
No, 20th.
Oh, chili.
October 20th is the Music in the Park, and it will be the Hateful Cares Chili Cook-Off. So I've already, getting calls and everything, and I probably just have 15 spots this year. So we have adequate space and everything for all our participants, the professional and non-professionals. That's free to enter, and you have a chance to win a little bit of money, but it's just it's for fun. It's really bringing the community together, seeing people, talking to people, and enjoying each other's company. So if you want to, Chris did last year. First year he ever did it. He said, I'm going to win. And he did. I mean, the people came out, tasted his chili and just voted. We couldn't believe it. Yeah. So I didn't get to taste it, but anyway, it's a fun event. I don't even like chili, but I do this because there's a community thing bringing people together. So come out, and if you want to, call me.
Thank you. Any other comments on the right? My left, George. Then you, ma'am.
Is this working?
It is.
I know that Mickey can be a